Okay, so this is take two of my coffee chat, and I'm going to see if I can invite, because I know I had a few viewers last time and then my video ended and I had to start over again. Okay, we'll just see if they can find me. Okay, so it's coffee chat time. Hey Dana, I'm glad you found me again. I had to start over. So, if you don't know me, my name is Katherine Oster, and I want to talk to you about, does the universe have your back? What if things showing up in a different way than you imagined is actually a gift? And what if you're not wrong? So, I wanted to talk to you about this with regards to class creation. So, I'm a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, and I've been creating some classes. And I created a class for this evening, and I had a few people interested in it, and they texted me after I posted the class. It was going to be about it was going to be a 3-hour class, and it was going to be the How to Become Money workbook class, and I was going to do it with horses. So we were going to be out in the arena, and I was going to include a couple horses, and we were going to go through the workbook. And after I posted it on Facebook and invited people through email, I had 2 people text me and be like, yes, I'm coming. And then on like Monday, one person got back to me and they're like, oh, we have this thing, I can't come anymore. And then the other gal texted me on Tuesday and she's like, oh, I have this thing, I can't come. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then there was kind of like nothing else around it. And I'm like, okay, well, so then I asked the question, truth, is now the time for the class? And it's like, no. That was so using my awareness, which when I ask a question, getting a sense of the energy that comes up. So a no for me is usually it's just a no in my head right away, or it's actually like a yes right away and it makes me smile and it's like so fun. But if it's a no, it's like kind of just, it's no. And usually I make this face. That's my no phase. So is now the time for this class? No. Okay, cool. So then we were up at our cabin for a couple of days, and I got home yesterday morning, and one of the horses, a client horse that I have in training right now, actually, she has injured her leg. We've been treating it for probably almost 3 weeks now, since the very first time. And she's just really sensitive to things, and she was having a reaction and her leg was swelling and she was sore. So I got home from the lake on Wednesday, and sure enough, her leg had flared up again. Her leg was swollen. She was like 50% sore on it. And I'm like, okay, we need to take you to the vet. And I asked her, I'm like, do we need to go to the vet now? Do you need some stronger medication? And she's like, yep, yes, yes. So I phoned in yesterday and made an appointment for her today, and I could haul her in. And I'm like, just kind of looking at my day on Wednesday, and I'm so grateful actually that there's not this class this evening, because I really just got home from the vet, an hour ago, and I was scheduling my class to start at 6:30. So then I would be rushing around, like trying to make supper and get things organized for the class. And I had a riding lesson this morning, and just all of these things. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'm heading out to Swift Current for a talk to the entities intro and beginning class with Crystal Crawford. So I have a few things. I want to get the grass cut, and we have to get laundry done, and like get caught up on some financial stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And I just kind of shake my head at myself, because I do this sometimes where I think that I have like all of the time in the world. Hey, somebody else is here. Hello. Okay. So I do this where I think I have like so much time, and I kind of create this pressure on myself where I need to be, I love doing classes and I love getting them out there. And so I schedule them, and I'm like forgetting that summer is actually quite a bit busier for me. Hi, Crystal. quite a bit busier for me than winter, because of all the outside stuff that I do, and the horses and the riding lessons gets busier, and I love that. And so I try to overbook myself. And I think the universe is and by the universe, I mean, like, there's just this, things just, show up the way that they show up. And it's like, hey, Katherine doesn't need to be crazy and do a class in the middle of all this. So the people who were going to come to the class, I just love how it happens. And so they couldn't come anymore, and I didn't have to cancel it. I didn't have to tell anybody, or I didn't have to try to force it, because that also doesn't create very much when there's not, like, when the energy isn't there, when I'm forcing something, it doesn't create like I know it could. It doesn't create the possibilities for the people that show up for the class like I know it could. So this used to happen before I started using the Access tools, before I became a certified facilitator. I would kind of put some stuff out there, and then I would hear crickets, like nobody was really on it or nobody was really interested. This one time I actually, with my writing lessons, I've been teaching writing lessons for probably since the year 2005. So that's 14 years. So probably 2008-ish, 2009, I was back home and teaching some writing lessons in the area, and they were going really good. And I really started getting to know that there was kind of an interest out there for people who didn't have a horse, but they were interested in horses. They had this draw to horses, but they didn't have a horse. And so I actually designed this program, and I forget what it was called now. And I made this whole kind of manual, kind of about the parts of the horse and basic horsemanship. And I kind of set up this whole thing of classes where you were going to get so many riding lessons and some, basic knowledge about horses. And I don't even know, because I don't even know if Facebook was around yet, or if it was maybe just starting. I'm not even sure how I advertised this class, but I remember I created it, and I talked to a few people about it, and nobody was interested. And I'm like, okay. So back then I would have judged myself that I wasn't good enough, that people didn't like what I had to offer, that I did it wrong, that I should have done it another way. There would have been all of those judgments of me. And then I would have stopped myself from doing something like that ever again. So since I've been using the tools of Access, I have been using the tools to judge myself way less, way less. So the fact that the people canceled for my class tonight, I was just like, okay, cool. And then asking the question, truth, is now the time for the class? And it's like, no. I'm like, okay, awesome. And then getting home and realizing, what's really going on and what I'm actually really required to do today, to take the horse to the vet and to get caught up on some stuff before I head out again. It's like, wow, what a gift it is. And I'm just so grateful that, the universe does have my back and things do show up the way that they're supposed to. So how does it get any better than that? So the other thing that I became aware of is that we are aware of the future, which is interesting. So I want to take my horse class, for example. So I created that 2008, 2009, so almost 10 years ago. And it was kind of just wah-wah, nothing was really there. But I was aware of something that was asking to be created. But again, asking the question, if I would have had the tools back then, I would have asked the question, is now the time for this class or for this whole program? And it's I would have probably gotten a no. This is my no face. So then, okay, cool. But I didn't even know that I could be aware of the future. So, how far in the future was I aware of with that? So probably 10 years. Because I actually started doing something like that last year with Barb and I. We did a kids' summer riding camp. It was 2 days. We went over like knowledge, horse knowledge with the kids, and it was riding, and it was so much fun. So how far in the future are you with the things that are asking to be created? And so that's some information that I've gained taking the foundation class, and like just the different energies that you can be aware of. So that's really interesting. And it never actually shows up like you think it will. So for example, I had another example I wanted to talk about. Oh, with the riding arena. So Travis and I lived in Turtleford, and I'd been dreaming about this arena, and I totally envisioned it there because I actually saw us living in Turtleford on our farm in Turtleford for, the rest of our lives. Like I didn't even really know that we would be moving, and I was, like kind of planning in the yard where it would be, and I would have all these things, but just nothing started moving with it. And then all of a sudden we got this new information, and Travis's mom wanted to sell her house. So we're like, okay, we're going to move. And then as soon as we moved, then things just like hit, like boom, boom, boom. And the arena was built, like started being built, June, like 5 months after we moved to St. Alberg. So it never shows up like you think it will. Had I, really forced the creation of the arena and forced it to be built in Turtleford, I wonder, it's so funny. And even I remember thinking, so with the barn I had in Turtleford, I had one stall in it. Travis bought that for me for a Christmas present, one stall. And there was a few years before I moved where I was always like, man, I want to put a couple more stalls in the barn. Like, I would really like to have 3 stalls, and I kind of priced them out, but like, how aware am I? And I just never followed through with it. But when we moving that one stall was a pain in the ass enough that I was so happy that I did not buy anymore. So then after we moved, I got the barn here, I got the stall set up. It was so easy, and things just flowed. So just notice if there's things in your life that you have to force, like the creation of something, or if you're forcing yourself to like write a book, or to do a call series, or to put a program out there. If you're forcing it, ask yourself the question, is now the time? And notice if you get a yes, a smile energy, a lightness, there's space, or if you get a no, which is your frowny face, or it's heavy. Because if now is not the time, then I wonder what the universe is changing and moving around for you, so what you're asking for can actually show up in an even greater way than you could ever imagine. Now, if you're forcing something and it's not flowing, and you ask the question, is now the time? Truth, is now the time? And you actually get a yes, then there might be some more information that you require for things to fall together. So then the next question you could ask would be, okay, so who or what can I add to this to make it flow? Or like, what else is required here? Like, and you can talk to your creation, like program, like class, show me what else is required here to get this, if now is the time. Because classes and creations and things have energies to them. Like, they are an energy, an entity. My writing arena had an energy of its own before it was created, and it does right now. And if you start asking questions and communicating with it, then it can start to give you the information that's required, and it can start to show up. And I think I talked a few coffee chats ago about talking to things like my vehicles and stuff. So you can also have the conversation with your creations. And I know the other thing that I was going to talk about was the class with Anna. So in 2017, I hosted Anna Jelenius. She's from Sweden, for a Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class. And that class came together, like, when things flow and the energy is there, I sent her an email and she like boom replied right away, yes, I'll come and facilitate this class for you. And then things just fell into place and it happened. And then I wanted to have her back again in 2018, like last summer for a class, and the same thing happened. I had like 4 people registered for the class. We were a month out of the class actually happening, and Anna hadn't booked her plane tickets yet. And then like 2 people that week contacted me and got their deposit back because they couldn't make it anymore. And I'm like, okay, sent them their deposit. And Anna checked in with me about booking her plane tickets. And we were just kind of like, the energy's not really there anymore. You know, it was the end of July and the class didn't happen. And I was kind of like, okay, cool. So is now the time for the class? And I got a no. And I'm like, okay. So then I think Travis and the kids and I ended up going on a holiday to BC at the time that the class would have been. So I took advantage of that time that I had and we did our family vacation and it was amazing. And then, so how far in the future was I about creating in the future? So the class actually happened this year with Anna and it was amazing. And we had like 8 people, the taster night, we had more, and the energy that we're generating for, you know, next year in the future is just huge and so exciting. So when you can get out of the judgment of yourself, if something you're creating isn't just going, you know, what if you could just not judge yourself for 1 second? Don't judge yourself. You're not wrong. You're just aware, and maybe you need to ask more questions about it. Then you can receive the gift. So the fact that I put this class, the How to Become Money workbook with horses, out there into the world, I put it on Facebook, I sent it out to my email list, it's creating something for the future class. So that step is already generating an energy for this class and the future classes that I have. You know, people saw it, it got noticed, maybe some people are talking about it. Now isn't the time, so nobody's coming, but the time might be in a few months. It might be this winter, it might be next summer, like whenever it is. And now I'm just going to ask the class to let me know when it is the time. So what if the universe has your back? And I love asking myself that question, like when things are showing up really weird, or not, by weird, I mean not as I expected them to, I just ask that question, truth, does the universe have my back? And I always get a yes, always. And I'm like, okay, cool. What if I could just trust that things are showing up in this way, in a way that I didn't expect them to, for a reason? And if I didn't judge myself, what information could I receive about this? And what possibility will become available to me? So whatever you do, do not ask those questions. Anyway, I hope this contributed to you and your life in some way. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm going to be doing these every week. I think next week we'll get back to Wednesdays again. And thank you so much for you. And have an awesome rest of your day. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.